All right. That was a fun little bump. I stopped for a cup of tea while I was at it. Of course, I decided to do something when I should have closed Blender first. That was my own bad. That one. I know different. I really do. I know better about that. But hey, that's me. I'm gonna leave that in the top corner, and I'm gonna put this on the inside, like this. That way, the overlap. And that gets out of the way. I'll go back to the top. Just enough space to open Blender again. Just enough space to start that again. And then I can do this. Lucky I had saved, right? This is the best part. See here I've got these 3 different mats all going at different speeds and blinking rates. And of course, all I have to do now to increase any of these is to... Is that hidden? Yeah, that's hidden, and that's hidden. But if I want to make them all go to the last frame, and whatever those blinks happen to be, then they happen to be, then I just increase that way. We get to the next one. There's voice acting in this part. And for the voice acting part, I know that this is not going to be actually yellow. But I'll be adding overlays onto the screen here. Images which I haven't got yet. The product placement is going to replace it. And the product in particular. Property of Warner Brothers. So I'm not going to lose any time on this one for now. Text only. This is, I'm not going to lose any time on this one right now. I'm going to go to this next one. Voice acting. Why do you think I do this? I do this to get attention. So I may well need to see the waveform for this moment in time. Take a minute to load it. I'm going to hide this just to make it easier. Why do you think I do this? I do this to get attention. Or something to those words to that effect. Let me hear what the actual line that I've parroted was.
Why do you think I do this, huh? I do it to get attention.
Why do you think I do this, huh? I do it to get attention. Why do you think I do this, huh? I do it to get attention. And it's a fairly short set of text. How long does it take to deliver that text? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2. Less than 4 seconds. So it's not that many frames at all if I wanted to animate something. And I'm thinking the text that she speaks is what I want to animate. And it'd be easier to animate it into something where, like I only need a single frame here to animate against. But I need a longer animation. That's what I'm trying to spit out. I think this will probably be the last one I'll do today, but I'll do it now rather than later. Here we have the bog standard default 3D window, and I've got a bunch of different scenes already started. One's called graphic elements. I'm going to call this next one specifically something. Copy the settings. This is the size of its image. It's using anti-aliasing and all the rest the same as the last one. It saves every other setting. Just doesn't take any of the particular elements from the last scene. And I should rename this one now. Why do you think I do this, huh? With a question mark. User perspective is going to be top perspective. Shift A, add a camera. It's looking down when you add it that way. I'm going to orthographic mode by hitting 5 on the keypad. You can zoom in this way too. Set that to orthographic mode and then hitting 0 on the numpad. Hitting N key here, I'm going to put the camera's origin point above the axis, like the plane axis, by 10. Doesn't matter how much, but I will be putting up by 10, and then the scale of the image is defined by orthographic scale. I need to add a bunch of text objects to this scene. I want them to be named sensibly, so I'm going to name them here in the item box. I could also name them here in that box. We'll call that one Y. And before I get much further, I'm going to turn on this N panel again, and at the bottom in the background images, I'm going to add an image. If you haven't guessed what the image is, browse the image to be linked, open, Fuffer, renders, AS stills. Now I need the one that I was working on. I can't remember which it was. I'll cancel for a second. Can't remember which it was. 11. Add the image. Ooh. Only need one. Open. Fuffer, render, AS stills, 11. It's a little bit thrown out because of the image aspect ratio. I could stretch, I could fit, I could crop. Fitting it is better. And I'm only doing this to get an idea of where I might lay things out on the image. I need to know where these are going to be appearing on the screen. I also know that the length of time for this animation is less than 4 seconds. So I'll give myself 4 seconds worth of frames to work with. And the first one is going to be downrange, maybe about this much. That's when I'll want to make this visible. And it might not be visible for longer than, well, longer than half a second, but not much longer. Ah, beautiful. 2, 3, let's say there. Anything else I can do with that and make it easier to work with? Well, I could center it. I could therefore offset it like that. Is the size and things okay? Well, I can make it bigger here, but I can also scale it this way. But what I think I'm going to really do is, well, I find the right scale here. 0.73 will probably be best. Why? What else do I need done with these things? Well, I want to use the whiteboard, and I want this to use the default overlay world. And then I gotta move this down here this time. Overlay, isn't it? No, graphic elements. I want this one. See why here? It's this text object. I can make it visible this way, but I can also render it on or off this way. So on frame 23, I want it to be visible. And being rendered, but at frame 22, not so much. So frame 23, it pops up. Control Z, Control Z. I made a little mistake here. I'm gonna fix it first. Y. Duplicate. Oops, sorry. Duplicate. Shift D. Do ya? Duplicate. Think. Duplicate. I. Could do it that way too. Duplicate. Across his shoulders, I'm thinking. Do this. And then that one, I'll duplicate. Question. Why do you think I'd do this, huh? So now I've got all these elements ready to go. Why do you think I do this, huh? They're in order right now. I can grab them. Right, why do you think I do this, huh? Frame 23. When Y is selected. Could do it the other way here. Set this to not visible, not visible. Oh. No, I need that. Set this to not visible, not visible. And go forward one, set them. Now they're both keyframed on. 1, 20, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to keyframe them off. So the frame before they're on, the frame after they're off. Grab. $32. Off. Then on. $23 is what I used the last time. If I select both, I get all their keyframes here. I like the idea of scaling this up. When it appears. Insert, forward a frame, keyframe, insert scale, 1, 2, and I'm going to make the scaling difference now. Insert scale, 1, 2, 3, off. So why do you think back single frame I that's where it'll start, and it's back to frame, so I'm going to do the old make it appear one frame later. Insert, but I'm also going to keyframe rotation and location. Oops, my bad. Holding shift and middle mouse button to just pan around with the camera view. Keyframe location and rotation right now. Was it? Wait, no, that's not what I wanted. It was scale. Let me have a peek. How did I do that? Graphic. Home. Restrict view, restrict render, and rot. Yeah, I don't need these rotation ones. I don't want to see any of these. Delete these keyframes. Good. Back to 3D view. I need a scale. I want scale here, not rotation. I don't need these things. What the hell am I wearing them for? So forward 1, forward 20. I want this to be out here. Insert location. And I want it to be bigger. Insert scaling. 1, 2, 3, and we make it disappear. So now if I go back to here, we get an idea of what we're getting. Forward 10, back 1, do this. Start it into the keyframes, forward 1, make it visible, keyframe it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I know it'll be gone by that moment in time. Grab and I'm going to scale this down. Insert, forward a frame, visible, while it's selected, I'm going to insert a scaling. 1, 2, this is going to be bigger. Insert scaling. 1, 2, 3, we're going to make it disappear. Why do you think I do this, huh? And then I'm going to let the last image roll up from about here. At least a second for the last line of text. Could actually make this longer to take up the difference. The end, let's add another couple seconds. 121 right now, so 51, 81, 211. 211. Why do you think I do this, huh? I do it to get attention and then fade it off. I think I'm going to start this next one rolling at around 93. I'm going to add in a new text object. Grab, well, no, I'm not going to grab anything first. Leave it where it is. In item name. I do it to get attention. It's going to be one long line of text, which I'm going to scroll across the screen or make fit after it scrolls over. As such, I can leave it right where it is. I mean to say I can leave it aligned where it is currently aligned in the bottom left corner, and I'll use that to make sure that it stays on screen at all times. And the size that I used in the previous line was that as a baseline. And there we see the fruit of my labor. So how to pop it onto the screen? Bring it up like that, or scroll it on, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to start at the top and bounce down. So insert a keyframe location, then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Grab on the Y and bring it down to its bottom point. Insert a location. Ooh, shoot, shift, cursor to center. What I'm thinking is I don't need to actually animate anything past this. I can extend the end of the, so 121 is plenty fine. I don't need to overextend the render. At this point, I don't need this background image anymore either. Everything else is done. But one thing I do have to do is under the render settings, establish that this is not going to be this is not a still image. It could be a sequence of still images. That's true. Yeah, maybe I will do it as a sequence of still images. So this won't be arrow. This will be something along these lines. Why do you think I underscore? But under here, I'm going to add a folder. Why do you think I? For it to go in. Except. This is true for everything here. Great, 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 great. These are going to be JPEGs rendered individually one at a time. And I'll load the last image and hold it to get this to hold on screen as long as I want it. And I don't need to render that. It's just silly. Rendering that image 2 million times when I can do it only like 3 times. But it gives me a little wiggle room if I want to change this motion. What do I do now? I hit the animation button and it will render a series of stills to that folder location as I've named them. Very good, right? Back to video editing. Why do you think I do this, huh? Voice acting. Alt-H just to get to where this frame is, and I can hide it again. This is why I left it with a little bit of wiggle room. let's say for here for now. Shift, ooh. Big mess up. Well, it doesn't much matter. It doesn't much matter. Shift A. I want to load something, but it's going to be an image. And it's going to be an image strip, really. Under renders, under AS stills, no, under stills. M sniper elements, this. Hit A to get all of them. Image strip. Here's the image strip. Set the image strip to add. Nice and simple. I'm curious as to what this looks like if I render an image right now. Not bad, not terrible. Thing is this image is being spread out a little bit because the original image is a fraction of the size of the actual screen. If I offset it, you'll see what I mean. And since I know there's a certain amount of offset, this is 437 divided by 2 to get in the middle. And what's the other one? 480 minus 120 that way. So this will actually look a little bit better. But it also gives me a chance to make one more change. You can see that this is where Y pops up, but Y happens back here. So I can grab that on the X and move it back to Y pops up. And as I was saying, I can make this hold as long as I want at the end by simply extending that strip edge. But you might be wondering, why did I shrink it down if I took the time to make it the right size? Well, it's easy to fix that. H, Shift A, transform, and set it to subtract. Oh, what am I doing that for? Oh, you'll see, you'll see. Uniform scale, it should be maybe a third bigger. And it really doesn't need to be set to subtract. It doesn't matter what it is, add or subtract. Because I fully intend to use this as one of these, how do I say it? I fully intend to use this as a shadow, a drop shadow track. So I'm going to add a Gaussian blur to it now. Set that to subtract. And under the effect strip, give it a modest blur, maybe 23. The smaller the number, the better. And now on that one, add the transform again with add. Did I offset it? I did, didn't I? Oh, I didn't have to. I've already offset it down here. So all I had to do here was uniform scale at 1.3, make it fit. So there's the drop shadow with the Gaussian blur level. Fake news joke. That's the last joke to be done. The last types of jokes. This one for the Oscars, this one for the fake news. So that's the multiple types of effect I'm planning to do, and you can see how it stacks up little layers of various things. But right now there's 3 different glows being applied to various elements in the image. Here you've got images being added up to one another. I think this would look better if it was darker. Easy peasy morning stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do some more of this offline today. And I wanted to give at least an idea of how I would use Blender to do this stuff specifically. So thank you for watching. My name is James PFP. I'm gonna get back to my day in progress. Good time for me to go for a little walk too, I think, while it's still warm and getting warmer. Leave a comment below if you're interested in anything specifically to do with Blender or with anything I've been talking about on the Banjocast for the last several episodes. And I talk to you